بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن نبينا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا. Welcome, my brothers in Islam, to lesson 168 of Arabiyyah to Bayna Yadayk, book 1, part 1 of the new version. ووقفنا عند صفحة 110. We stopped at page 110 عند كلمة الوجبة وعند الجمع، وهناك الجمعان وجبات ووجبات، والجمع الثاني أشهر. الوجبة لها معنى آخر. The word meal لها معنى آخر has another meaning. أيضا also, so it has also another meaning. فهي كذلك مرادفة لكلمة أكلة. Then the word يعني وجبة means meal, and we normally have 3 meals in the day. But the word وجبة can also be something else, and that is identical to the word or similar to the word أكلة. What is أكلة? هذه أكلة لذيذة. This is a tasty repast. Then this is the second meaning, my brothers in Islam, repast. نعم. إذن أكلة والجمع أكلات, repasts. I don't know if I pronounce it properly, but you know better than me. إذن, my brothers in Islam, the main meaning of wajbatun is meal, but also repast. You cannot say that one is more famous than other. هذا بحسب السياق. This is according to the context. ما اسم هذه الوجبة? What is the name of this repast? Okay. Did you eat the breakfast meal? Now it means wajbatun. إذن كم وجبة تأكل في اليوم? How many meals do you eat في اليوم, in the day? How do you say كيف تقول? How many meals do you eat each day or every day? كم وجبة تأكل كل يوم, every day. آكل, I eat, and you can see there is a med, so it's almost, you can say, 2 seconds. If we had a normal hamza, it would sound like akulu, and then you would be stopped by a small child who speaks Arabic if he hears you, inshallah. So it's akulu with the wave. This is called meddun, and it's almost 2 seconds. And this is the longest med we have outside the Quran. Okay, the med is not longer than 2 seconds outside the Arabic, outside the Quran. As for in the Quran, it can all the way goes to approximately 6 seconds, like what al-dallin. So آكل, I eat, ثلاث وجبات. آكل ثلاث وجبات. ثلاثة is a masculine number, عدد مذكر, لأن المعدود, because that what has been counted, or that what comes after the number, or that what has been mentioned after the number is a feminine word. That's the word wajbatun. Because you always go back to the single form to see if something is masculine or feminine. And between 3 and 10 we always use opposites, so we use the masculine number. So normally you will say ثلاث وجبات, 3 meals. ثلاث وجبات. and after the number 3 all the way to 10 you have a mudafun ilayh, so wajabatin has kasra. And we have here also the what question, I eat what? So ثلاثة is مفعول به, مفعول به منصوب وهو مضاف. It's 2 in 1. ثلاثة is a reply of the what question plus the verb. I eat what? I eat 3. إذن مفعول به منصوب. منصوب means actually it has a fatha. وهو مضاف, it's مضاف at the same time. ووجبات, the word وجبات is مضاف إليه. So I eat 3 meals, and that's what most of the people or many of the people eat around the world, 3 meals. And these are the names of the meals: الفطور والغداء والعشاء. And all of you know that wa means and, it's not a part of the word. الواو ليست جزءا من الكلمة, it's not a part of the word. So, and the word by default has not a fatha, it will be الفطور, or without الفطور, غداء, عشاء, all with 2 dhamma. So why does الفطور has a fatha here, although it's not the default situation? Okay, it's one of two reasons. الفطور إعرابه, its syntax. You know what إعراب is? Like if somebody says, what means syntax is just like saying this is a subject and this is an object and this is a preposition, okay, this is a pronoun. So the i'rab of al-fatura is called badalun. It's badalun. And some of the scholars or some of the specialists in grammar, they say it's atfu bayanin. Atfu bayanin. And some say that badalun and atfu bayanin, they are the same thing. Okay, they're 2 names of the same thing. Badalun, atfu bayanin. Although badalun linguistically actually means instead of. Okay, so instead of. So if you have, for example, 2 words, you say هذا هو الأستاذ خالد. This is the teacher Khalid. So Khalidun is badalun instead of al-ustad. Okay, al-ustadu Khalidun. And how do you know something is badal? Because you can remove the mubdal minhu. You can remove that what has come before the badal. So هذا هو الأستاذ خالد. You can say هذا هو خالد. Okay. الإمام البخاري. البخاري is badalun. Okay, because it can come instead of the word al-imam, and this is something you will study in the green book, inshallah. Atfu bayanin is the same. Bayanun is clarification. Okay, it clarifies the 3 meals. What are they? Anyway, this is all extra information. And the badalun or atfu bayanin, they're not like a maf'ulun bihi that always needs a fatha. It can be with dhamma, it can be with kasra. It can be anything. ضم كسر فتحة. Okay. ذهبت إلى الأستاذ خالد. خالد is بدل of الأستاذ. It's instead of أستاذ. Anyway, على كل حال. So these meals, they are بدل. They come instead of the word الفطورة. عفوا الفطورة is بدل of the word ثلاثة. And maybe الغداء والعشاء might be also badal or ma'tufun because of the waw, but that is something that is a bit too deep now. So in this situation it's mansubun, having a fatha. طيب. فائدة, a benefit inshallah. So we have now three new words. Al-faturu, al-ghada'u, al-asha'u. Without al, faturun, ghada'un, asha'un. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. فائدة, a benefit inshallah. الفعل المتعلق ب, متعلق goes always with be. The verb, الفعل, the verb, المتعلق, that is related to, In English you say to, in Arabic say be. المتعلق ب باسم that is related to the noun. فطور هو. Okay, we have the word فطور. فطور is breakfast. Okay, how do you say I took breakfast? How do you say I took breakfast? I had breakfast. Yani, do we say, for example, according to the vocabulary that you have now, alhamdulillah, do you say أكلت, I ate, أكلت الفطورة? Is this correct? هل هذا صحيح؟ أكلت الفطورة. Or can you say I consumed the breakfast, تناولت الفطورة? Or is there a much more posh way, a much more eloquent way of saying that you had the breakfast? نعم, هناك فعل خاص. Yes, there is a specific verb in the Arabic language. It's not available in English, because in English you say I had breakfast. There is not a verb. I don't think you can say I breakfasted. It seems not to be correct, but you know better. In the Arabic you use this, أفطر فلان. So and so person or such and such person, أفطر, had breakfast. So you can see two English words, they equal one Arabic word. أفطر is he had breakfast. He had breakfast, 3 in 1. Okay. أفطرت, I had breakfast. Don't tell me which meal was it that you had, because أفطر can only be breakfast. So أفطر is a he form past tense. He took breakfast, he consumed breakfast, or he had breakfast. He ate breakfast. A, in other words, it means تناول طعام الفطور or تناول طعام الصباح. What means أفطر? I think I have this part from the Arabic dictionary. أفطر means تناول, he consumed, with a D, past tense, the food of the morning. طعام الصباح. طعام اسم مفعول به مضاف. He had what? طعام اسم مفعول به مضاف. الصباح مضاف إليه. Or you can say تناول, he consumed وجبة الصباح, the meal of the morning, and that is the breakfast. And then this verb is very good to know. أفطر. أفطر is he had breakfast. So it's that extra information what strengthen you, inshallah, in your vocabulary. Okay, people who don't know to say أفطر, they forgot the verb, they can say أكلت الفطورة, I ate the breakfast. But you have now made one word two. You have now used two words instead of one. Okay, you have not done the brief way. You have not used the brief way. The brief way is using this verb. أفطر خالد. أفطرت, I had breakfast, full stop, نقطة. Okay. أفطر has another meaning as well, and I want to share that with you. له معنى آخر. إذن أفطر خالد على تمر. Okay, before that, أفطر خالد على تمر. Is Khalid had the breakfast on dates, meaning he ate dates in the breakfast. So you can use على, and you can also use the famous be. أفطر خالد بتمر. I think this is easy in English. على is a bit more difficult, but the English people they use, or the English speaking people use be. Khalid had a breakfast with dates. Okay. Now, المعنى الآخر, the other meaning of أفطر, كما في هذه العبارة, like in this phrase, أفطر الصائم. أفطر الصائم. Okay. Or أفطرت الصائمة. It's normally أفطرت with a sukun. أفطر, he broke his fast. أفطر الصائم, this is the subject, because subjects have a dhamma. Who broke his fast? الصائم, the fasting person. The fasting person, أفطر, he broke his fast. Because the Maghrib time, the sunset time came in. For the feminine it's أفطرت with the sukun, but we have a problem of التقاء الساكنين, the meeting of two sukuns, so أفطرت will become أفطرتي with the kasra. أفطرت الصائمة. the feminine fasting person broke her fast. هي أفطرت. Okay. Then these are the two meanings of أفطر. It's actually quite logical to call to use the verb أفطر for a fasting person, because actually it is his first meal. He didn't have the breakfast. Yes, he had suhoor, but that was in the night. That's not counted. That was in the night. Okay, so in the morning he had nothing, something in the morning, had nothing in the lunch. So the first meal, you can almost call it a breakfast. I mean, it's the same Arabic verb. He consumed breakfast and he broke his fast. Then, so أفطر الصائمون, the fasting people, plural male. And as you know, even if it's 1,000 women and 1 man, you still use the plural masculine form. أفطر الصائمون, the fasting people broke their fast. أفطرت الصائمات, the female plural fasting women, they broke their fast. Later on you will study, inshallah, that you cannot use a plural form of the verb if you have a plural form noun. You can only use plural form verb after a plural form noun. So you say as-sa'imuna aftaru with the waw silent alif. As-sa'imatu aftarna. As-sa'imatu aftarna here. Aftarna after the plural noun. Okay. As for starting with a verb, you always mention a single form verb with a plural form noun. So you say, for example, the Muslims went. ذهب المسلمون. I use the single form. ذهب, he went. Okay. ذهبت المسلمات. She went. I use single form verb. Okay. But if I start with the noun, المسلمون ذهبوا. Wow, silent alif. 3 or more verb. Plural verb. المسلمات ذهبنا with نون النسوة. Noon of plural form. Feminine plural form. Why is it called aftara, for breaking the fast? Like I've mentioned just before, لأنه أول وجبة للصائم, because it's the first meal for the fasting person. إذن أفطر يفطر. يفطر is he is having breakfast. فعل مضارع. أفطر, take breakfast, consume breakfast. فعل أمر, command verb. إفطارا, taking breakfast. أحب الإفطار في البر. I like to have breakfast at the countryside. I remember one of the brothers said, your English is funny. I think he said your English is funny. So iftarun is having breakfast, is the masdar, the main noun. Having breakfast. It's not a verb, it's just a noun. فهو مفطر. He's the person that consumes the breakfast. أين خالد؟ هو مفطر الآن. He's taking the breakfast now. Okay. The other meaning of muftirun is the one who's not fasting. أنا مفطر, يعني غير صائم. In other words, not fasting. نحن مفطرون. نحن مفطرون. نعم. وهي مفطرة, she's not fasting. وهن مفطرات. والمفعول مفطر, ولا أعرف معنى مفطر. وبإمكانك أن تقول, you're able to say, تناولت الفطور, I consumed breakfast. It comes from the verb تناول خالد الطعام. تناول is he consumed. تناول خالد الطعام. Khalid consumed the food. تناول الطالب الموضوع. Here تناول has a totally different meaning than to consume. So تناولت هذا الموضوع أو تناول الطالب الموضوع is that the student he went through the subject. الموضوع is the subject. So he went through something. He studied. He tackled it. هل تناولت السيرة النبوية؟ هل تناولت? Have you studied? Have you tackled? Have you gone through? هل تناولت السيرة النبوية؟ نعم تناولت السيرة النبوية. إذا تناول is also to consume. So يتناول خالد الغداء الآن. Khalid is consuming the lunch now. يتناول. تناول consume. تناول هذا الدواء. Consume this medicine. تناولا is consuming. That's the مصدر. فهو متناول. So فهو متناول with اللام, no alif, no two فتحة. He's the consumer or he's consuming. والمفعول متناول, consumed. The word متناول is important because it doesn't only mean consumed. هذه الكتب, these books, في المتناول, meaning they are available. في متناول الجميع, they're available or accessible for all. Okay, within reach for all. إذن في المتناول means it's accessible. Okay, طلب العلم, seeking knowledge, في المتناول, it's accessible. Okay, within reach, it's not impossible. Especially now with these lessons that are recorded, etc. طيب, هناك فعل آخر, there is another verb, and with that inshallah we can conclude the word الفطور, and that is وأما, and as for فطر with a shadda and a fatha on the top. فطر, فطر خالد الصائم. It means that, or you can say فطر خالد الفقير. We've done now two sentences. What means فطر is he gave breakfast to. فطر خالد الفقير, meaning Khalid gave breakfast to the faqir, to the poor person. As for فطر خالد الصائم, is that he provided the fasting person with an iftar meal, the meal that he consumes with the maghrib time. نعم. فطر يفطر. من يفطر هذا المسكين? Who gives a breakfast to this poor person? Or من يفطر هذا الصائم? Who will give the iftar wajba, the meal of breaking the fast to this fasting person? فطر, فطره, give him breakfast. فطر الضيف, give the guest breakfast. تفطيرا is giving breakfast or giving an iftar meal with Ramadan is the masdar, فهو مفطر. مفطرون has a shadda and a kasra. I think this I see what's going on. مفطرون. So this above the shadda is the kasra of taftir. As for the kasra of مفطرون, it should be above the letter below the shadda. And I think you have also the اسم مفعول مفطر. طيب. نعم. There is a فائدة, a benefit. Inshallah we will come to the اسم مفعول in a bit. There is a benefit. مفطر is also, so مفطر is the one who gives somebody a breakfast meal. Okay. طيب. So the word mufattirun, my brothers in Islam, the word mufattirun is very important. What is mufattirun? تقول مثلا الطعام مفطر in the books of fiqh, في كتب الفقه, في كتاب الصيام, in the book, in the topic of the subject of fasting. You say, for example, الطعام مفطر, meaning food is mufattirun, is something that nullifies the fasting. So the word mufattirun is that what nullifies your fasting. Okay, ما يبطل الصيام, what nullifies the fasting. That is called also mufattirun. It's not only the person that gives breakfast to somebody. Now, it means also mufattirun, but mufattirun has two meanings. The one who gives breakfast to somebody, okay, but the one that gives an iftar meal to somebody is called mufattirun. But mufattirun is also that what breaks the fast. Okay? إذن ما يبطل الصيام, what nullifies the fasting, يسمى is called mufattir, mufattirun أيضا. Okay? Sometimes the scholar they use the plural form because you have many mufattirat. This is the plural form, mufattiratun, with a shadda and a kasra above the letter. So mufattiratun. Okay? تقول, for example, الأكل والشرب, eating and drinking, في نهار رمضان, during the day, in the day of Ramadan, during is أثناء نهار رمضان, during the day of Ramadan, عمدا, deliberately. The word عمد is deliberate, so deliberately is عمدا. من مفطرات الصوم, are from the مفطرات, are from the nullifiers of fasting. والمفعول مفطر, شدة and a فتحة. So alhamdulillah, we have gone through the word al-faturu. Okay, and now we have the word al-ghada'u. What is the lunch? Without al, it's ghada'un, lunch. I think I will stop here inshallah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.